The slap echoed across the silent ballroom, freezing every guest mid-toast as glasses hovered and stunned air. My husband leaned close and hissed, "You're embarrassing me." Again. I touched my burning cheek and said nothing. What he didn't know was everything was being recorded. My name is Vivian, and I'm 37 years old. I got married when I was 22 to a man everyone called charming. Back then, I believed it too. He was warm, funny, and ambitious. But over time, that charm faded into something colder, something sharp and controlled. I stayed, telling myself it was normal for love to change. I built a small life from home, working as a freelance event coordinator while raising our 2 kids. My days were filled with planning, emails, and making sure everything ran smoothly. Meanwhile, he climbed his career ladder, becoming a senior marketing executive with a polished smile and powerful connections. To everyone else, he was the success story. I was just the wife behind him. At dinners, he talked over me. At gatherings, he joked at my expense. People laughed. I smiled. Inside, it hurt. The loneliness built slowly, like a quiet ache that never left. This anniversary party was supposed to celebrate us. Instead, it became something else entirely. I stayed quiet for years, but silence doesn't mean surrender. If you've ever been dismissed as just the support system while someone else took all the credit, hit that subscribe button. I want to hear your story in the comments. Have you ever stayed quiet just to keep the peace? Let's go. Click hype if you're ready to hear what happens when quiet people finally speak. I planned every detail of that anniversary party myself. The flowers smelled soft and sweet, filling the ballroom with calm. The lighting was warm, the music gentle, everything perfect. Over 80 guests came, his colleagues, his family, our friends, everyone there to celebrate what they thought was a perfect marriage. During the speeches, his brother raised a glass and said, "To my brother, who built an amazing career while juggling a family, and to Vivian, who, well, she keeps the house running." People laughed politely. I smiled, tight and quiet. Then my husband took the microphone. He spoke about his sacrifices, his hard work, his success. I stood beside him, barely mentioned, just called his rock in passing. I had prepared something too, something real. I stepped forward and said, "Marriage isn't about one person shining. It's about 2 people building something together." His face changed, dark, sharp. "Honey, no one wants to hear a lecture. Sit down," he said. I stayed calm. "I think people do want to hear." He grabbed my wrist. I said, "Sit down." I pulled back. Then it happened. The slap was loud. The room went silent. Gasps filled the air. He quickly smiled, turning to everyone. "She's been drinking. She's emotional. I'm sorry. She gets like this." I stood still. My cheek burned. My eyes stung, but I didn't cry. I looked at him and said softly, "I'm done." Then I walked out. As I reached the door, I glanced up. The camera blinked red. The next morning, his mother called. Her voice was cold. "You humiliated him in front of everyone. He's devastated." She never mentioned the slap, not once. My sister texted me soon after. "Why did you make a scene? You know how he gets when he's stressed." I stared at the message, feeling something break inside me. He didn't apologize, not even a word. Instead, he acted like nothing happened. Worse, he told our kids I had too much wine and got emotional. They looked at me with confusion. They believed him. He was always the fun parent. I was the strict one. Later that day, I saw his post online, a smiling photo from earlier that night. 25 years with my beautiful wife. Marriage isn't always easy, but love wins. Comments flooded in. Praise, admiration. No one knew the truth. A friend called me. "Maybe you should apologize. He's really hurt." That's when I understood. He was rewriting the story, and everyone believed it. Then he sat me down, calm, controlled. If you're thinking about leaving, just know you'll get nothing. The house, the accounts, everything is in my name. He looked at me like I was nothing. You don't have a real career. What will you do? I said nothing, but inside, something changed, something hard. I stopped arguing. I moved into the guest room. I stayed quiet. I watched and I waited. What my husband didn't know was that I had been documenting everything for 2 years. It started after one argument where he twisted every word until I doubted myself. After that, I began saving proof, screenshots of accounts he claimed were his own, messages where he insulted me, emails where he joked about controlling me. I even had a recording from months ago when he shoved me and denied it later. But the most important piece was from that night, the CCTV footage. I knew the venue system well. I had planned the event. The next day, I returned and asked for a copy. The manager didn't hesitate. She had seen everything. She handed me the footage quietly. I also had something else. 3 months earlier, I had contacted a divorce attorney just to understand my options. Now I was ready. My cousin Lauren called me 2 days later. I saw what he did. I'm not letting this go. She had always been the one who spoke the truth. She believed me without question. She connected me with her attorney, Ms. Cardona. Sharp, direct, no nonsense. I met her in secret. We went through everything, the footage, the messages, the records. She looked at me and said, "This is enough, but we do this carefully." I agreed. At home, I stayed quiet. He relaxed. He thought he had won. At dinner, he joked, "Vivian's finally learned to pick her battles." Everyone laughed. I smiled. Inside, I was counting down. His family pushed me to move on. His mother blamed me. My parents asked for counseling. I nodded. Meanwhile, I opened my own account, moved documents, closed cards. He noticed nothing. The mediation was set at Ms. Cardona's office. He thought it was just a formality, a chance for me to apologize. He walked in confident, smiling. I walked in with Lauren. He smirked. Needed backup? Ms. Cardona began. "We're here to discuss the divorce filing." He laughed. "She can't afford that." She slid a folder across the table. He opened it. His face changed instantly. There were messages, financial records, images from the footage. His hand raised, my face frozen in shock. "This has been submitted as evidence," she said calmly. He tried to speak. "That's out of context." I finally spoke, my voice steady. I spoke about partnership. You couldn't handle it. Miss Cardona leaned forward. "You have 2 options. Settle fairly or we take this public." His lawyer looked nervous. "You need to settle," he whispered. I stood up. "I spent years making myself small so you could feel big. I'm done." Then I walked out. Within a week, he agreed to everything. He had no choice. I got a fair share, custody of the kids, and support to start over. We moved into a small apartment. It wasn't much, but it was ours. The kids slowly began to understand. His image cracked quietly. Some friends stepped back. I didn't post-base him. I didn't need to. I rebuilt my business, this time with confidence. Lauren stayed close. The kids loved her. For years, I thought strength was silence. I was wrong. Real strength is knowing when to speak and having proof when you do. I'm not that woman anymore. I'm someone new. If you've ever been publicly humiliated and then made to feel like it was your fault, I want to hear from you. Subscribe and share your story in the comments. You deserve to be believed. This space is for people who refuse to stay silent. Click hype if you're ready to hear what happens when quiet people finally speak. Standing up for yourself is tough. If you've been there, subscribe and become part of this community. Let me know this story helped by clicking hype and tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Your support means everything. Thank you for being here.